I am pretty grateful that, I've got legs and I live in I really like where I live and I have great friends. That just is like just another perspective on life completely, where I may be like really focused on my current problems. Another thing is meditating. Uh, Meditating actually really helps that front part of our brain, that prefrontal cortex. It really helps that recover and helps us develop some more willpower. So meditation in its most simple ways would be just sitting still and focusing on your breath for around 10 minutes. As far as I'm aware, there's not a particularly easy, quick, or foolproof way to get good at meditating. It's a practice. It's not something you're like, I am the master of meditation. It's something to practice for you, just as the way that you go to sleep and you rest and you eat healthy. You take care of your brain by just stopping it from having reactive thoughts all the time, all the time, all the time, and giving it a break, giving it some blissful rest just to focus on one thing for 10 minutes. Okay, so they are the fundamentals. The next thing is knowing your why. Now, this has probably been done to death so many times, but knowing your why is so important. There's a book by Viktor Frankl called Man's Search for Meaning. I believe it's a quote in there, or maybe it's niche. But anyway, it's those with a strong enough why can withstand any how. If you remember from earlier with the two different parts of our brain, the how is very much in the now. And that's going to be where we're going to potentially come up against some resistance. But if you have a super strong why, if you really connect in with your why, you can withstand those hows. You can withstand those things that aren't quite going the way you want to. It's not all perfect for you in those moments. But connecting in with that why can really help. Now, here's a really basic way to connect in with your why. Quick exercise. So first of all, what do you want? Like, what's something that you want in your life? And then, why is that important? Just ask yourself, why is that important? Why else is that important? Like, get deeper. If you're familiar with WP Elevation and Troy Dean's work, you might know about the Go Wide, Go Deep framework. Do this on yourself. Why is this important? Why else? Why else? Why else? What's most important? Connect in and really feel that. You want to get to a point where you're like really, you've found some good stuff, like oh yeah, I really want that. That's why. An example could be something like, talking before about making $100,000. Why is that important to you? Why else? Why else? Why else? Right? Until you really connect in with something that's like, oh, that's why I want to do this. Okay? The next thing is practicing awareness. Now, this isn't so much a thing to do as just a thing to be in your life. As you go about your day, as you do work, just practicing being aware. And you can use triggers like emotions to improve your awareness. Like if I'm working on something and I notice myself get a bit agitated or uncomfortable, just pause, just take a breath and just be aware. What's going on at the moment? Okay, I notice there's something in my chest and I'm feeling a bit sweaty. Okay, that's interesting. And that's it. Just being aware at that time. So something to practice. The awareness is the precursor to change. Okay, you can't really change something if you're not aware that it's a problem or it's a behavior that you're doing. So awareness can really help you identify what's going on. The first of the mantras that I want to share with you is, what's the opportunity? So this is something I repeat to myself throughout the day. It's a practice that I have now, because I want to see the opportunity in everything. There's moments where I might feel quite down and it's not really working the way I want to. But when I think, what's the opportunity here? Is this an opportunity for patience for me? Maybe I'm injured and it's taking a long time to heal and I'm not able to, do some running that I want to. It's an opportunity for patience. Maybe I'm speaking at an event for the first time with people I don't know about. This might be an opportunity for courage. Or if I'm starting a blog and I'm new to writing or something like that, it's an opportunity for practice. So there's always an opportunity, and you can use this mantra to help you see what that opportunity is. The next mantra is do hard things. So every day doing hard things that are going to progress you towards your goal. Now start wherever you are, whatever's hard for you. Don't worry about what's hard for someone else and what you think you should be able to do and what you can't do. But doing hard things that are just for you. I have a stack of index cards and I write the things I need to do each day on the index cards. It's index cards because I can only fit like 10 things on there. And I'll mark 3 of them as things that are hard for me. They're going to be growth, like edgy kind of things for me, but they are going to progress me towards my goals. One of them is my morning routine that I'm developing. It's not really a like full-blown habit. I don't do it autonomously just yet. So it is something that helps me grow. It is going to help me, well, hopefully help me move towards my goals. So I put that on the list and I mark that off. And when I do that, that fills me with confidence that I'm doing the thing I said I'm going to do. So start wherever you are with whatever you're working, whatever's a little bit edgy for you. Okay, if it's too difficult, the things you're putting on there, just maybe lower the stakes a bit until you're able to cross those things off. If it's too easy for you, then, grow the stakes a little bit, up the stakes, if that's the expression, and put things that are a little bit more difficult for you. This is really going to expand your comfort zone. The next mantra is the good thing is. Now, this was a very important one for me. I would remember finishing my days and thinking I didn't achieve enough. That was an awful day. I feel like crap. And that would not be a good way, to rest at night or to kind of reflect on my day. It's not very useful for growth. But I developed a thing called the good things list. It was just a piece of paper and it was like divided into the days and 5 rows. So it was for the weeks of the month. And then each day I had to write one good thing that happened in the day, right? So after a couple of weeks, I could look back and I could see, regardless of what's happening in my day, the good thing is I did that. Oh yeah, and I did that. Oh yeah, and I did that. That's right. I'm feeling pretty good now. And it would just really help to shift me from, well, the bad thing is this didn't work today, to, well, the good thing is, blah, 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 blah. And over time, I was able to just move my attention from seeing things that aren't working to things that have worked and are working, to see what the good thing is in so many different things. It's quite similar to, what's the opportunity? But the good thing is something I encourage you to practice, even at the end of your sentences. If you're complaining about something or you're down about something, finishing with, well, the good thing is, like my clients didn't pay on time. But the good thing is, I'm going to set up an automatic payment system and this is not going to happen in the future, right? Okay, so the last mantra that I'm going to share with you is the name of this talk, and it's just today. Now, this is to help focus on the process, not the outcome. We talked about setting goals. We talked about, making plans and taking action. This is to help focus on just today. What are the actions I can take today? Right now, what can I do to make today great? Don't worry about tomorrow. Don't worry about 3 months away. Don't worry about these plans I have for the business and whatever it might be and for my life. And I don't feel like I'm ever going to get there. Come back to just today. And that has brought me some calm and it helps me just focus on things today. I can take that compartment. I can take that little portion of time and I can just work on those things. That really helps me. Maybe for you, it's just this hour. Just right now, whatever that might be. I do encourage you to come up with some of your own mantras that help you. You'll know through like testing and experimenting and through that awareness I talked about that, like what kind of works for you. Develop and own your own mantras, or borrow and steal other people's, or some of the ones that I've discussed here. So a quick recap. So we talked about how our brains work with the neocortex and the limbic system. Talked about how our thoughts create feelings and how we can reverse that by looking at results and the actions that we need to take to create those results. Talked about proactive and reactive thoughts. Talked about growth mindset versus a fixed mindset. And then I shared with you the various mantras that I've used to be able to help reframe my own thoughts and my own mindset. So just pause for a moment, just think, like what's something, maybe you've been taking notes, like what's something that's been helpful for you, something that you can apply today or right now, or at some point in the very, very near future that you can practice and you can see how you can use that to reframe your own mindset. So 2 things I would encourage you to do right now as well is, one is just notice, just become aware, just notice yourself as you're going about your day and you're feeling certain things and you're taking certain actions. Just notice your awareness level. Okay, notice how things feel, what you were doing beforehand, what you're doing next, and just kind of like describe the physical sensations. Maybe like, oh, there's a bit of a knot in my stomach there. That's interesting when I got that email. Like without judgment, just become aware. And the next thing is do one thing today, if it's not almost midnight for you, but do one thing today that's, it's edgy for you, but it's doable. It'll help you, it's something to help you move in the direction you want to go. Like write it down, put it somewhere that's visible, like right in front of you, and cross it off. And win your day. Then do this every day. Like I said, I aim for 3 things. Well, I do 3 things, and that is a win for the day. If I do 3 of my like edgy things, that's me winning the day. I don't have to get through everything on my list, but those 3 things, they're a growth for me. So one more thing before we wrap up is the reality is, unfortunate reality, or maybe fortunate reality, it's like no one's coming to save us. No one's coming to save you. No one's coming to save me. We've got to be there for ourselves. We have to learn to coach ourselves. We have to learn how we work and how we can help ourselves like we're someone else that we're trying to coach. And like, come on, buddy, you got this. Let's change this. Can we have a closer look at how you're taking action? Like, you're your best friend trying to help you get the most out of life. No one's going to come and do this stuff for us, unfortunately. We have to cultivate these things and do it for ourselves. Thinking clearer and feeling better is something you can improve. You can practice this stuff. You can be better at it with effort. By taking time to practice awareness, see opportunities, and do hard things, you'll build trust in yourself and build confidence. So focus on that today. Just today. And I'll just leave you with this quote: be impatient with action, but patient with results. That's from Naval Ravikant, who's the co-founder of AngelList. So massive thank you to the WordFest organizers and Big Orange Heart, and thank you to you for watching this. Until next time, thank you and take care.
This year has already been long enough. 2021, that is. Let's not even get started about 2020. You've got enough to worry about with your business. Worry about one less thing this year. Your website hosting. Fused.com offers great support, performance, and uptime. Really, give them a try today.
Hello, I'm Adam from GoDaddy Pro. We're thrilled to be a global sponsor of WordFest Live. It's a 24-hour worldwide celebration bringing the entire community together for an epic virtual event. The GoDaddy Pro team will be on hand to answer your questions on topics ranging from security to content strategy to everything WordPress. Keep following us to learn more about what they have in store. Plus, we'll be spinning the wheel and giving out prizes. It all happens on Friday, January 22nd.
Wow, that was a lot of great information, Simon. Appreciate it for that. We've got a short amount of time, so there's a couple of questions that have come in that I want to see if we can get covered for that. So the first one is there any useful literature that you know of, have read, can suggest that can really start understanding mindset and getting somebody on the right track for it?
Yeah, a book that's aptly named Mindset by Carol Dweck is a really good resource, because there's a lot of like scientific evidence and testing that they've done with fixed and growth mindset. So I recommend reading that book, and also the Model by Brooke Castillo that I mentioned. Brooke Castillo runs the Life Coach School, and their podcast, totally free, and it's absolutely amazing. Starting at the beginning, they go through the model and a lot of thought work. So there's really good stuff there. But just learning about the model is quite a short video on YouTube about that. That as a regular practice is pretty amazing.
Sweet.
Okay, we had another question come in. How do you remember to apply your principles when things kind of take a turn for the worse, that kind of catch you by surprise?
I wish I had a foolproof answer to this. I didn't mention this in the comments and backstage. It's like how do you remember brushing your teeth? Like do you leave a post-it note somewhere or set an alarm? Or maybe you do. Maybe that's helpful. If so, do that. It's repetition. Like if you've been brushing your teeth all the time, like when that happens. It happens like before you go to bed. It's like if you've read Atomic Habits by James Clear. It's habits. It's really practice, repetition, and just keep doing it. Have you ever like bought a car? Like let's say for some weird reason you want to buy a yellow car. You start seeing yellow cars everywhere. Like I don't remember these being on the road in the past couple of months, but now you're seeing them because you become aware of them. I think it's like a confirmation bias or something like that. If you start becoming more aware and proactively seeing things in a positive way, you'll see more positive things. You'll start to see the good thing in more things. So it is really that repetition and habit building. I wish there was some kind of easier way. Like I still practice I practice all the time as much as I can. And it's a work in progress for sure.
I dig it. Well, Robbie didn't have a question, but he popped in. He just wanted to say how awesome the talk was, and he's looking forward to the replay and watching it again, as am I, because there was just a ton of information that I didn't get all down. So I'll be rewatching it myself.
It was like a bit of self-coaching. I think I'll probably rewatch that too. I know me quite well. There's a couple of bits in there. I'm like, oh yeah, that's a good point. I'm going to remember to do that.
I think we can all relate to it at some point or another in our lives.
Absolutely.
Sweet. Well, again, I want to appreciate you for doing this chat and then jumping in and chatting with us for a few minutes about mindset and really just kind of how to get everything up and running. So again,
absolutely. My pleasure. Thank you.
We appreciate it, Simon.
Thank you.
This year has already been long enough. 2021, that is. Let's not even get started about 2020. You've got enough to worry about with your business. Worry about one less thing this year. Your website hosting. Fused.com offers great support, performance, and uptime. Really, give them a try today.
Hello, I'm Adam from GoDaddy Pro. We're thrilled to be a global sponsor of WordFest Live. It's a 24-hour worldwide celebration bringing the entire community together for an epic virtual event. The GoDaddy Pro team will be on hand to answer your questions on topics ranging from security to content strategy to everything WordPress. Keep following us to learn more about what they have in store. Plus, we'll be spinning the wheel and giving out prizes. It all happens on Friday, January 22nd.
Hi, so welcome back. Next up on the Fuse stage, let me introduce Naomi Bush. Naomi's been working with WordPress as a professional developer since 2005 and is going on her 9th year of helping businesses and organizations, including household name brands, use forms to efficiently support and scale their business. She contributes back to WordPress as core contributor, meetup organizer, and WordCamp organizer.
Naomi will share pandemic proof with online forums today. She's also going to join us at the end for a live Q&A session immediately after the presentation's done. So please make sure you post any questions and comments in the chat so we can make sure that she answers them. We also want to give a huge thanks to our global sponsors, Fused and GoDaddy Pro, and our multilingual partner, Wiglet. We also want to make sure that you guys visit their tents, chat with them, and even potentially win some big prizes. We want to give a very big thanks to our media partners as well as our micro sponsors. Because of you guys, this is all possible. So thanks so much.
This year has already been long enough. 2021, that is. Let's not even get started about 2020. You've got enough to worry about with your business. Worry about one less thing this year. Your website hosting. Fused.com offers great support, performance, and uptime. Really, give them a try today.
Hello, I'm Adam from GoDaddy Pro. We're thrilled to be a global sponsor of WordFest Live. It's a 24-hour worldwide celebration bringing the entire community together for an epic virtual event. The GoDaddy Pro team will be on hand to answer your questions on topics ranging from security to content strategy to everything WordPress. Keep following us to learn more about what they have in store. Plus, we'll be spinning the wheel and giving out prizes. It all happens on Friday, January 22nd.
Hello, Big Orange Heart, and WordFest viewers around the world. It is an honor to be included in this celebration. Although we can't be together in person, I love that technology still allows us to connect in some form, especially online forums. And today I'm sharing with you the impact that I saw forums have on businesses around the world in multiple industries during a global crisis. People were understandably in a rush to adjust to the changing conditions. So I had the opportunity to work with customers one-on-one to help them get set up and hear their stories. For some, it was adding new streams of income, and for others, how they were able to strengthen their business that may have otherwise failed due to the conditions. Now, for some context of where I'm coming from, for the last 9 years, I've been building add-ons for a WordPress form builder called Gravity Forms. So I work with forms a lot. And what do I mean by an online form? Well, instead of this paper thing, all right, instead you get to go to a website, enter your information, and click the submit button. Now, I don't know about you, but taking paper or PDF forms, trying to fill them in, get them signed, scanned in, and emailed back is a poor experience, in my opinion. So I want you to leave this session inspired, all right, and looking for ways to implement online forms in your business or your clients' businesses, helping you capture more time or more income. First, I want to take you to the UK. A small franchisor of instructor-led yoga, and sensory play classes, these were live classes, they were in a hurry to shift from their usual in-person classes to online. And instead of using a standalone payment subscription service, they saw the value in having everything run through their WordPress site using their WordPress form builder, in this case, Gravity Forms. Now, each franchisee was provided a page on the franchisor's website, and that page listed the location information, including the class schedules for that location. Now, a customer would normally use that page to learn more, but then they would go into the franchise location and sign up for and attend the classes in person. Well, now with this transition, they needed to have customers sign up online. They needed to collect the payment online, and they needed to direct the payment to each individual franchise's own bank account. So they did just that. They created a separate form for each franchise. On the form, customers chose the classes that they wanted to book, and then they paid for the classes, either one at a time or they could subscribe, so on a subscription basis. They received a receipt once they paid, and then the payment was directed to the franchisee's bank account. Now, if the customer chose subscription payments, they could log into the website at any time, see their subscription, update their payment method, and update or cancel their subscription. Now, I love this example because in the middle of being forced to make a transition, they actually received a benefit that they weren't even expecting. And that is, they were able to automate the collecting of their franchise royalties using the same process. You see, there's an option when you're directing the payment to another bank account to also collect a fee. And they were able to collect these franchise royalties right at the point of sale instead of through a later process. So not only did they meet their explicit goals, but they were also able to work more efficiently, freeing up time. When many people think of forms, they think of simply converting, the fields on that paper form into fields that people will now fill out online. However, what they miss is the process that happens after the form is submitted. And that's where online forms and WordPress form builders shine, because it's not just about receiving information, but it's about the ability to automatically process that information for your organization in any number of ways. And processes that were manual and required manpower can now be automated. I often see customers stop short in this automation process instead of just going all of the way. They key in on just the information collection part and leave the information processing part. But that's where the true power is. If we go back and if we look to the PDF forms that I mentioned, even when the form was filled in, someone had to check the email for the form, call the customer to get their credit card information. Both parties, sit on the phone and wait until the payment is successful. And then I ask, in my mind, well, now, where did that credit card information go? Was it keyed in directly? Was it written down somewhere? The security is very questionable for me. So in our online class case, not only are we able to use the online form builder to collect the information, but the process after the form was submitted is automated as well. That is customer payment, paying franchisees, and collecting franchise royalties, adding the customer to the online class platform, as well as allowing the customers to manage their own subscriptions and payment methods. And I forgot to add now, this is all no code, zero. This was all put together using off-the-shelf tools, not Zapier, and I'm going to share those tools at the end. The franchisor did not have to copy and paste any code anywhere. The restaurant industry was hit particularly hard. And I had a lovely conversation with a customer who was helping a friend in that business. He shared that business was great for his friend, and he was doing better now than he was previously. I was definitely intrigued, absolutely, because it's like, how could that be? And he shared that he pivoted into a new income stream, delivery. And not just services like Uber Eats. At least in the US, the delivery service fees can actually be really oppressive for restaurants. Instead, this restaurant was savvy enough and decided to set up mobile optimized forms on their own website, allowing them to stay in business and keep more of their money. And again, the star here is an online form builder that allows you to not only create the form, but also set up and automate the after form submission actions. This form allows customers to select the items that they'd like to order and pay for those items. Now, one of the most resistant industries to technology has been the beauty industry, especially smaller salons. There's a running joke. If you say that you want to build software for salons, that has always been an indicator that you are a newbie and likely to fail. Seems everyone that gets into software, they want to build software for salons. But that changed with the new need for contactless payments. And I had the pleasure of meeting a mobile salon and spa owner who coordinated appointments for traveling professionals. And they provided services to those who were either unable to or did not want to visit a salon location. So similar to our online class case, a form was created for each professional. The form included waivers and affidavits of health to protect both the professional and the client. But this time, we were collecting payment information, but not processing it yet. The professional needed to confirm the appointment time first, and then once they confirmed, the payment would be processed and text message reminders would go out. Now, this was no problem because our no-code online form builder is up to the task. We selected to save cards only, and the card information was securely saved so that it could be charged later. And then we set up our text messages. Now, another industry that was always adamant about needing to handle business in person, but then ended up shifting with the changes, was banking. Now, in my experience, it used to feel like an uphill climb to get such a traditional industry to allow you to send things to them electronically. I mean, it was a headache. And then the world changed. And I was actually able to open a new bank account with a traditional bank completely online. I mean, talk about mind blown. And the main action with banks is, really signing the paperwork. But again, that's no problem for our no-code online form builders. We can create a form with our fields, upload the PDF document that needs to be generated, and map the form fields to the PDF. We need to make sure that we capture the person's signature in the form and then generate and send the PDF where it needs to go. No code. Now, All form builder signature fields are not legally compliant. There are certain attributes that must be present for a signature to be secure and legal. And I list those in the list of tools that I'll be providing at the end. I thought that it was really cool to see US real estate agents embracing technology, especially with virtual stagings, virtual showings, virtual closings. People were still buying and selling houses. And this is another industry where online forms, especially signatures, were readily embraced to keep business moving. Even the US government got in on the action. I mean, look here at this press release from the IRS. To protect the health of taxpayers and tax professionals, the Internal Revenue Service today announced it will temporarily allow the use of digital signatures on certain forms that cannot be filed electronically. Now, I did not work with the government on this in any form or fashion, but I thought it was cool, so I wanted to mention it. Now, in my experience, the medical profession in the US, especially independent practices, they have also been particularly slow to embrace online forms. The best that I've personally been able to get is the downloadable PDF form, that you have to manually fill out, print, and bring in. Or if you're like me, you ask if you can just email it in. And I was glad to see a growing number of practices embrace telemedicine. And telemedicine is just a term used to describe virtually providing patient consultations. And while there are providers out there that will happily separate you from thousands of your dollars, an online form builder can also simply do the job. Because what do you need here? You need to book a time, accept payment, automatically create and send the meeting link, and then send reminders. And we can do that. It was fascinating to see the live performance industry get in on the action. I saw several artists and others offer virtual performances for fans to purchase a ticket to, and then they would receive a link to view the performance. I saw party entertainers pivot to hosting virtual parties. Children were even able to spend one-on-one time with Santa virtually. None of this happened without an online form. Forms are universal, used across industries. And anywhere an offline or manual process exists, it's a great place to see how your online form builder can help. So now it's your turn. What in-person or manual process can you automate with your form builder? For a list of tools that were used in each of these examples, visit gravityplus.pro/WordFest. Now, I'm going to take it down when this talk is over, so make sure you go get that now. And note that none of these examples are using Zapier. While it's a great tool to use in certain instances, I prefer to handle my actions in WordPress. Now, I'm also excited because I'm doing something that I've never done before. And I'm going to include a completely free consultation with anyone who has questions about online forms, implementing them in your business, specific form capabilities, can my form do this? Anything related to online forms is fair game. So, if you'd like that, visit gravityplus.pro/WordFest, enter your email address, and my online form will send you the information to schedule. Again, it's a limited time offer. I'm going to remove when this session is over, so go ahead and visit that link, and I would love to talk with you. Thank you again for having me.
This year has already been long enough. 2021, that is. Let's not even get started about 2020. You've got enough to worry about with your business. Worry about one less thing this year. Your website hosting. Fused.com offers great support, performance, and uptime. Really, give them a try today.
Hello, I'm Adam from GoDaddy Pro. We're thrilled to be a global sponsor of WordFest Live. It's a 24-hour worldwide celebration bringing the entire community together for an epic virtual event. The GoDaddy Pro team will be on hand to answer your questions on topics ranging from security to content strategy to everything WordPress. Keep following us to learn more about what they have in store. Plus, we'll be spinning the wheel and giving out prizes. It all happens on Friday, January 22nd.
Hey, Naomi. Thanks so much for that wonderful talk today.
Thank you.
We got a couple of questions that came in, so I'm going to jump right in on me and Teresa are, and
Awesome.
we'll see what we can get answered. All right. So one of the first things that we got is if you how easy are gravity forms for somebody to set up? Now, we're all technical in some form, digital, web design, whatnot, so we can figure it out pretty quick. But for the general layman, how easy is it for them to set up or change gravity forms once they're already built?
Sure. So let's see. There we go. Okay. So that's what I love about gravity forms and form builders in general. And that's why I specifically mentioned during the talk that it was no code, which means that you do not need to be technical. Form builders are generally drag and drop, so you drag the field that you want to the form and it is displayed. So, you can go back in at any time, edit the fields that are on that form, and then those after form submission actions that are so important, you can go in and you can, you can set those up, you can change those around, again, with no code. So that's what I love about it for people who are not technical.
Now, once you edit it, do you need to re-embed it or re-put it back on the page that it was on, or does it just natively change once you do your edits and save it?
Sure. So once you edit it, you don't need to re-embed it or anything. If it's embedded on the page, it stays there until you take it off. And so any changes are reflected when that page is loaded.
Nice. Okay. Super simple to use. Another one that came in. So, part of what you were chatting about were the different niches that actually did well using, the form builders, gravity form to be specific, but other form builders as well. So take that online learning. When they got the information that came in, the names, the credit card numbers,
Mm-hmm.
how secure is that process so we can make sure that our clients and then the end clients are protected?
Sure. It's absolutely secure. The specific example that I gave is using a payment processor called Stripe. So that means that no credit card information is, it doesn't even hit your server. So it goes directly to Stripe, and they are a what's called PCI compliant payment processor. And so they handle all of the security. So as long as you're using them on your site, you're good.
Beautiful.
Now, I understand that with credit card information. You have some businesses that they require like login information to be sent from clients, things like that. A lot of agencies work with that. Now, is there a way to do any kind of setting to where, once it's received, it sits on the servers for so long and then it deletes? Is there something you can do to automate that so you don't have somebody having to go back in and keep track of how long we've had them?
Sure. So again, we don't store any credit card information, any of the actual credit card information. So Stripe handles all of that. So we don't have to worry about storing anything and handling that level of PCI compliance. So what we do though is we store. Stripe gives us an identifier for the information, and so that's how we're able to reuse it on the site without having any security issues.
So if we lay the credit card information aside for a second, and I become a client of yours and I need to give you access to something of mine, instead of, because I don't have LastPass or Dashlane, something like that, you give me a Gravity form, and we do it at our agency in our onboarding process, and people will give us their login. Is there a way to have the server automatically delete that after a certain amount of time, so it's not just sitting on our back end?
Yeah, absolutely. And so there are a couple ways to do that. One way that people do that is they will encrypt the fields that come in. So there are some add-ons that you can use for encrypting the data. You also want to make sure, of course, that you have SSL on your site for when that information is coming in. You can also redact the information so that the information will, maybe it goes into a secure, a secure box somewhere. We've had people do that for things like HIPAA. So the information will go into some kind of secure system, all right? But it never gets stored in the database because we've redacted the fields.
Okay. So the forms themselves are in there, but it doesn't really matter because the fields that are more of that personal are redacted. Okay, I like that.
How hard is it to customize? So I know you can do some of the different fields, but to maybe like give it a different look, or maybe to send those responses to different emails all at the same time. Is it easy to do that?
Sure. So at least in my form builder, I'm most familiar with Gravity forms. Again, for the most part, there's a lot of parity with the form builders, but with Gravity forms, you can do routing of the data, so you can determine which email addresses you want the form to go to. The form submission to go to. You can even use something called conditional logic on there. So depending on the data on the form, you can send it to different email addresses. So depending on what the person chooses on the form, you can say, okay, I'll send you to person A. If they choose something different, I'll send you to person B. So again, that's where it becomes really powerful. You kind of have this traffic controller there in the middle, but anyone can set it up. You don't have to know how to use code. So.
And you can still use that same kind of like conditional logic to where if they answer a question one way, a different question will show up rather than if somebody answers it a different way?
That's correct.
Okay.
That's correct.
So towards the end, you had said that if somebody goes to your gravityplus.pro/WordFest
Yes.
URL, that like I would fill out the form again. It's
That's right.
Forms, and then I would get information back. Is that because you're easily able to integrate it into a CRM, ActiveCampaign, Infusionsoft, whatever, being that you don't use Zapier? Is that just like a direct integration, and how difficult is something like that?
Sure. So the information that I have there is it's a list of tools, and then there's a link for you to book. If you wanted to talk to me or ask me any questions afterwards, for you to book the consultation right there on my website. And that's all through Gravity Forms. So it doesn't use any kind of CRM. It's much like the process that I mentioned. It uses notifications. So when you book, it sends out a notification and says, hey, or actually I think with the form on my site, and that's why I did it that way, because I wanted people to ask me questions about how it worked. It's using what's called a confirmation. So as soon as you hit submit, it's going to pop up some information. It's going to say, hey, here's the link for you to here's the link for you to book the consultation. You'll go to the link to the booking page on my website, and you'll be able to book a time slot that works for you. And that's all Gravity Forms. None of it is nothing else.
And then, so the response is the confirmation that comes off of Gravity Forms. I like that. And I'm assuming like those are particular add-ons. They're not on the basic Gravity Form particular.
Yeah. So in this case, for that, I'm not using any add-ons.
Okay.
For that one, I'm trying to think. Yeah, no, not using any add-ons. That's all just core Gravity Forms. But the list of tools that I have, yeah, those are add-ons.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. I like it. Another thing that I've actually always been curious about. So, when, and it's going to step back a little bit to into the credit card, but when I sign up and I make a payment to that online coaching in the UK,
Mm-hmm.
Is there a way to have that set up? And I know the information sent to Stripe. Is there a way to have that just automatically sent as a recurring charge?
Oh yeah.
Recurring?
Yeah, absolutely.
Gravity Forms can figure out this is a one-time or a recurring?
Yeah, so Gravity Forms doesn't need to do anything in that case. Stripe is going to handle all of that. So you just tell Stripe, hey, this is a recurring charge. Charge them every month, or charge them every week, charge them every 3 months.
Sure.
And Stripe will handle that automatically. So you don't even need Gravity Forms for that.
I like it. Teresa, that's all I had for questions. Do you have anything that I missed?
No, I didn't have anything else. I really appreciate it. You've given a lot of information. I know Gravity Forms is a very popular form builder out there. Most everybody I know uses Gravity Forms. It's really easy to use. I think you've given a lot of information, and really appreciate sharing that list of tools and offering to do these consultations with people so they can really kind of dig more into what Gravity Forms is all about.
Yeah, sure. No problem. I'm really grateful to be able to do that. Normally when I speak at a conference in person, I'm able to talk to people afterwards, and they're able to ask me their questions. So I thought that would be a cool way to kind of simulate that, still being able to talk to people.
So when you, what other ways can people reach out to you to get either just a quick message or, hey, I got something that's acted funny on my Gravity Forms, and they may not need a full consultation. Is there some other ways that they could reach out and connect with you?
Sure. So if you just go gravityplus.pro/contact, that's a good way. I typically, handle everything via email. So if you, go to gravityplus.pro/WordFest and put your email in there, I'll send you an email and then you can email me back. Or you can just go to gravityplus.pro/contact.
Okay. So, and I want everybody to, it's on the bottom of the screen, but make sure you guys check out
thank you.
plus.pro/WordFest. I looked at it during the talk. Some great
cool.
and set up for a consultation. Naomi, again, I want to thank you, and we greatly appreciate you coming on, spending your hour with us, 45 minutes with us, doing the presentation and then answering the questions that came through. So again, we really appreciate your time and you jumping on and doing this with us.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks so much,
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
This year has already been long enough. 2021, that is. Let's not even get started about 2020. You've got enough to worry about with your business. Worry about one less thing this year. Your website hosting. Fused.com offers great support, performance, and uptime. Really, give them a try today.
Hello, I'm Adam from GoDaddy Pro. We're thrilled to be a global sponsor of WordFest Live. It's a 24-hour worldwide celebration bringing the entire community together for an epic virtual event. The GoDaddy Pro team will be on hand to answer your questions on topics ranging from security to content strategy to everything WordPress. Keep following us to learn more about what they have in store. Plus, we'll be spinning the wheel and giving out prizes. It all happens on Friday, January 22nd